This week at Donington Park GP, Napa have a new livery, Dorlin is dropped, and Plato is Kata cleaned out.
Yes, hello, welcome back. This is the Donington Park GP preview, but there's, of course, a lot of news to get through.
Oh, a lot of news.
Yeah, before we get down and dirty with the Btcc action for the weekend. So we'll start off with the biggest news of the week, which is that Napa are running a new livery.
Yes. Most importantly, it's come early this season.
They did it at Donington last season, didn't they? They've moved it to Donington in recent years.
It's been Silverstone before as well, hasn't it? So, yeah, we've got a new Valvoline livery, certainly on two of the cars this weekend. Looks like Camish will be running one of them because he's had his race suit changed as well. We see this pretty much every season, and everyone seems to like it. So.
I quite like the Valvoline liveries they've done in the past. I'll be interested to see how this one. We don't have enough like proper white race cars on the grid with the classic cars, classic colours on them. Everything tends to be dark colours, and I liked when BMW WSR ran the white car with the M Sport. That's the word I'm looking for. The M Sport colours all over.
It's clean normally, isn't it?
It is, yes. It is.
But yeah, we'll see how that comes out this weekend. Obviously, it'll break cover on Friday, Saturday. Depends if they do a testing day. But we'll certainly see it Saturday morning at first practice. And then we have a driver announcement, unfortunately. James Dorling, friend of the podcast, thank you, James, has unfortunately...
maybe not anymore.
Well, yeah, has unfortunately been relieved of his seat, has had sponsorship deals not pull through, which means that he's unable to complete the rest of the season for Restart Racing, and ready-made reserve driver, as it is, Dan Lloyd has stepped into his place. Thoughts?
Touring cars is in a very bleak place, is my thought, as stuff we'll get on to in a moment as well. I genuinely don't see why anybody who's looking to get into racing will come into touring cars at the minute. I genuinely don't, unless you are an established driver. If you're trying to forge a career in touring cars, why would you pick this sport? It's just getting to the point now where it is almost impossible for talent to stay on the grid. Dorlan, of course, who won the Wingfoot Award only 2 weekends ago at Thruxton for his performance at the week before that at Alton Park, had been very much in the battle for the Jack Sears and the Independence Trophy. That has now, this is not James's fault, but that's now made the Jack Sears a completely pointless trophy because Dexter's won that now. There is no one that will take that battle to him, unfortunately. The Independence is still slightly interesting at least, but I say that the Jack Sears trophy, which was shaping up to be another absolute classic, following on from last year's classic, that's now absolutely nothing. And at the bottom of all this, we've lost a really quick peddler from the grid. And that's now the second season he's been unable to complete a full season, which is just, it's a massive shame for obviously him, but for the fans and for people that want to see this silly little sport keep growing, because at the minute it's not.
Yeah, we're very much aware of all the sort of like hard work that goes on behind the scenes with drivers trying to find sponsorship, trying to find money that people are willing to put up to put them through a season. This is a very privileged sport, effectively. Not a sport for anyone and everyone. It's those that can find the money, people that are personable as well and can go out there and go, right, this is my plan, this is how I'm going to do it. You'll get your name out there and stuff like that. And it's a real shame to see sponsors just go, can't afford it. And in a company, and I understand working for a small company like I do, sometimes you have to pull money away from certain areas to go into other things in this financial climate.
Or even big companies, as we might get to.
Big companies, yes.
Get to in a moment. But yeah, it is a frustration. I think I've said on this pod before, I think what else worries me is that all the big sponsors in the series now are car related in some way. We've not got a shredded wheat. We've not got, I suppose the slight difference at WSR, but that's a slightly different setup for multiple reasons that we will not be going into. But yeah, that we haven't got like an Airwaves, a shredded wheat. It's all car related, and unfortunately, the car industry is not as strong as it was pre-COVID. And as such, the sponsorship in there. Why would you sponsor this series when you can go to GT for cheaper? When you can go to TCR for a hell of a lot cheaper? At the minute, what you're getting back out of it, and I think that is a real. Obviously, I'm a negative person. We all know this, and I've been very positive the last few weeks. But I think this week, coupled with the news we're going to get to in a minute, I just don't really see how the sport is going to keep thriving. I really don't.
We spoke about it earlier this week, obviously off the podcast, and we said that for Dan Lloyd to come in and do the rest of the season, obviously he said at the start of the year that he would be taking a year out to try and get the sponsorship money together, try and get platforms and resources in place that he could then go back in next year to then go, right, I can make a really good sort of like fist of this, maybe for 3, 4, 5 seasons, we don't know. Do you think this is now going to harm his chances going forward?
It's not Dan Lloyd's fault, and this is going to sound really like, but I just don't care anymore. Like, I genuinely don't. He'll race half a season. He'll run out of sponsorship for another season. It's not his fault. It's the way the touring cars is. But it's just now becoming the norm where we've seen it over Max Buxton over at Toyota.
Yep.
Last year we had the whole Michael Crease affair at Virtue. Senna Proctor.
Collard this year.
Collard's coming the same this year. Proctor can't get a drive for love nor money, despite the fact that every time he's been called upon, he's been in more than a safe pair of hands.
Yeah.
Good for Lloyd. He's got another half season or a few rounds under his belt. Great. But what's the point? Like, he's coming too late to compete in anything. So he's not going to win. Okay, it's not all about winning the independence teams or whatever, but what is the point? I really just, it's hard to get particularly excited about it. And that's nothing to do with Dan Lloyd. He's a good driver. He's a good guy. It's the wider implications of this is, we're having a season which is particularly poor anyway in terms of excitement. And again, that's not Sutton's fault that he's doing very well, but this is not a vintage season, and this does not help.
I would suggest this next piece of news has caused quite a lot of excitement, not necessarily for the right reasons.
Bleakness again, isn't it?
As a lot of you may well have seen already on social media this week, there were several early reports to suggest that administrators had been taken into classicing Plato racing. Those reports gradually got stronger and stronger throughout the week, and there was many rumours as to what was actually going on behind the scenes there, who wanted money, who needed money that the team maybe hadn't paid. We've seen lots of unhappy fans that possibly hadn't received merchandise that they'd already paid for, almost like in a pre-season or pre-order sale. And then the big statement came yesterday, didn't it? Yeah,
so we'll start from the beginning, and I will just say on your...
Where is the beginning?
Well, I will just say on your point about merchandise, the word allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah.
We've got no front line. We haven't ordered any merchandise, so we can't say for sure. And we are going to be slightly careful what we say around the next few bits, because this whole thing could well be subject to further legal proceedings further down the line. But on Monday, it emerged that Pantera Valuation Services had released a document which effectively said that Project Speed was up for sale, which is that the opportunity itself was established in 2025, and I'm quoting, and entered in the 2026 Btcc with 2 newly developed Mercedes-AMG saloons. Assets available include website, domain, plant, and machinery and stock. They also posted the financials, which had them as a turnover of £545,073, overheads of 1.38 million, and operating profit / loss at a loss of £835,097.
Which, can I interject in that area? Obviously, we know that Cataclean Plato Racing have started up in 2025 to come into this 2026 season. So we're of the understanding that there are going to be a decent amount of overheads in the first case to be able to set up a race team, to be able to get 2 cars ready for the start of the season. We know through the Plato documentary that they've been going, oh, look at this carbon fibre, look at this nice steering wheel and stuff like that. So yes, there are going to be bits and pieces where people go, well, they're going to have a big outlay in the first outset to then be able to possibly rake it back throughout the season. Now, we're of the understanding that there should have been 2 main sponsors coming into that team.
Yeah, I was at Silverstone when the news broke last year that what Plato was doing. He did an interview with Alan Hyde on the circuit.
As he did with Louise as well.
Yeah, I'm confident, and I haven't got recorded, but I'm confident that when he did the interview with Alan Hyde, he said that he'll be bringing 2 new sponsors to the grid that we hadn't seen before, and they were massive. Now, we know we've got ASUS. That is a new sponsor. That is that. But I don't think he meant Snap-on Tools, because I'm not convinced they've not been on the grid before, and I'm, without being too derogatory to Snap-on Tools, is not the kind of massive sponsor. It's the tool supplier. Every team needs a tool supplier.
Yeah, we've got Draper, we've got Milwaukee.
Laser Tools.
Yeah, exactly.
It is with Teng Tools. It is your tool supplier. That's fine. That's not the big sponsor. And then lo and behold, when the cars are released for delivery, suddenly Cataclean is massively down the side, way more than I expected it to be.
And also in the YouTube show that he did with what's his name, Johnny Smith.
Okay.
He said at that point we had someone let us down last minute sponsor wise. So we're of the understanding that there should have been another big major sponsor outside of ASUS to come in and go, right, here's a lump sum of money to help with the setup this season, to be sponsorship on the car. And as you said, when the livery was finally released, Cataclean was plastered all over it. Now we know that Rowbottom came along. He's part owner of the team.
I think. I'm not sure how that all stands now.
I'm not sure how that stands now. He was certainly part owner of the team when he was first invested into that setup. Yes, one of the drivers as well. And we knew he would bring Cataclean with him. Cataclean are a massive sponsor and have supported him all the way through from the Clio days. So we know that they bring a substantial price fund with them. But we're unsure as to how that is then distributed into the team, across the team, what it pays for and stuff like that. But allegedly, they are the people that are raising this for money back.
My theory, and it is just a theory, it's just pure speculation, is that I think they've footed the bill for the sponsor that didn't show up.
Agreed.
In the hope that another sponsor would come to fruition before now. It hasn't happened, and they want the money back, is how I personally see it. That's not gospel, that's my own thoughts.
No, it feels as if they have almost given the team a deadline, which they wanted to see their investment returned back to them. And I think it was probably fairly fair of them to go, okay, we'll stump the first half of the season. We'll get to this point, and then by this time, we need you to have another major sponsor in place to basically reimburse us for the extra money that we've put in.
I will say as well is that the Touring Car Hub Twitter page, which is pretty spot on and everything in the off season, did say a couple of weekends ago that there was allegedly some grumblings between Cataclean and Plato about how money was being spent. Yep. Again, that is pure speculation but that is from a source that, if you don't follow him on Twitter, or her, or whoever it might be on Twitter, they are pretty nailed into what's going on in touring cars. Of course, this led into lots of people saying what was being promoted by Pantera and the court documents was fake news and AI and deep fake. Yes. So then the statement dropped from Toka, from Btcc rather, last night through Toka, and I shall read the statement because I think it's
emergency phone call between us two.
It did, yes. So I'll read the statement because it's the easiest way. Following today's 18th of August statement from Cataclean, which we can't find. We can't find a statement from Cataclean. Yeah. So, but anyway, Toka confirms the team will continue competing in the 2026 Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship under a new name and management structure in order that it can move positively forward. The matters concerned are internal to the organisation and relate solely to its directors, shareholders and relevant parties. Toka is not privy to those matters, and I think I'll add there, neither are we. Nope. However, Toka has been provided with assurances of the team's participation in the British Touring Cars going forward. These assurances reflect Cataclean's continuing commitment and confidence in both the team and the championship. We understand that the programme will operate through a new entity without further involvement of Jason Plato in its management or ownership. In the interim, the team will be entered as CPRL, which I don't know what that means. Some people have gone, it's Cataclean Plato Racing Limited, but I'm not sure. They then also paid some tribute to Jason Plato at the end there. But yeah.
The interesting part of that statement for me is the fact that Cataclean look willing to take on the cars for the rest of the season, but they were possibly the primary people looking to have their money returned.
I think there's all kinds of questions over who owns what in that team.
Agreed.
Who owns the cars? Who owns the trucks? Are they Morgan's trucks for the Sicily day? I mean, there's so much.
We know that intertwined within all of this, we believe that some of the trucks are possibly from RML,
possibly, or maybe the cars on loan. I mean, there is so.
We know that RML have certainly built part of the cars because of how close they are in location to where Plato is, or Cataclean Plato Racing are based.
But we also know that Mercedes wasn't his first choice from the documentary that it was on YouTube, that they had a different car manufacturer lined up, which didn't pull through. So there is so many ifs, buts and maybes. I think there's a lot more to come out of this.
The other question mark I have, just to interject, is that they've come into this season as a manufacturer entry, which kind of suggests to me that the cars are either leased or on loan from Mercedes themselves, rather than possibly bought outright, which is why those outlay costs that have been are relatively low, you would possibly think, in comparison to a team starting up into the touring car.
My other worry, my other theory on that would be that Mercedes haven't provided the cars, but provided some capital or something,
Possibly,
which is why they've gone to scrapyards to get the cars in the first place.
But we certainly know that they've picked up cars that have been subject to previous damage, whether that be flood or something else, and they're picking up panels, and it kind of seems a very smart way to do it.
Well,
to me,
it did. Maybe it doesn't. So now, I mean,
I can see the cost-saving effect of it. Then,
but then, yeah. Well, I don't know. They say that. Put it this way, I don't think that Napa Racing are getting their cars from a scrapyard. I don't think Ford are suggesting that they buy their cars through scrap deals. I might be wrong. I don't have any insight into Napa. But
the only thing I would say with that is the main shell of the car, the central part of the car, is the only bit that needs to be good. We know it has a front subframe which is different, a rear subframe which is different, which is spec'd to the touring cars itself. So there may be truth in it, there may not. How it all shuffles out is we still have them for the rest of the season at this point.
Under a new livery, it appears, from the pictures on British Touring Car website.
And it will be interesting to see. There's going to be a hell of a lot of media coverage across this weekend, I expect. And they are going to be very much centre of attention. Something that, ironically, Plato would have absolutely loved, just not in this instance.
Yeah, it feels like there's a lot to come out, and it feels like there's a lot of weirdness and oddities around this.
We'll have to wait for the book, mate.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, that Volume 2 has written itself, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
I do. The bigger worry for me now, tying it back to the Dorling thing, is that if Jason Plato can't make a team work in the touring cars, then who the effing hell can? Like, you know, it's. I know he's eccentric. I know he's got his foibles. I know he's not necessarily but I just want to read to you some of the teams we've lost. Right?
Can I say something on that?
Please do.
From seeing the documentary, the videos that have been created around the startup of the team at the start of the season, it does very much feel he's a bit of a magpie, and he'll go, "Oh yeah, shiny things, they're good,
yeah,"
and not actually go, right, I need to manage this and take into account the financial aspects of it and what almost tempering expectations are going into a brand new team or creating a brand new team going into a brand new season. I know he very much went in with the goal of going, we can win this. I like that positive attitude, but I think below the level of that, you've got to be realistic and you've got to go, right, this is going to be a year of getting everything together, first of all, very much learning, which they've done in the first half of the season. We think we've found the damper setup change for Knockhill. Kudos, lovely. But I don't think he, from the surface, has managed it very well behind the scenes, if that's the reason that he's gone. And that's a big if.
Yeah, I think there's other factors at play.
Agreed.
But even if you take that as a theory, can I just read you the teams we've lost since 2016 in the touring car? So we have lost Team BMR, who ran the Subarus back in the day. We've lost Team Dynamics, who multiple champions. Triple Eight Racing, until recently the most successful touring car team we've seen in the touring cars. Handy Motorsport, Team Hard, Team Parker Racing, Eurotech Racing, Team BKR, AMD Tuning, Maximum Motorsport, One Motorsport, Sicily Motorsport, Unlimited Motorsport. They are big names that we've lost from the touring cars in the last 10 years. And that, to me, is the worry.
Not all of those teams have completely gone kaput. Some of those teams have chosen
but why have they chosen
to do other parts?
But that's even more worrying. Even more worrying. Why are Team Parker Racing no longer interested in doing anything in touring cars? Why are Team Hard? Yeah, there's a whole Netflix series to go on there. One Motorsport have walked away. Sicily have walked away. These aren't teams that were like sort of. This isn't Matt Simpson Racing, with the greatest respect. This is Team Dynamics, the wheel supplier, who have been in the touring car since the mid-90s, have won championships, have got some of the biggest sort of trophy cabinets on the grid, going, we can't make this work anymore. Let's not forget, when Team Dynamics walked away, they were looking to return. That was how many years ago?
Yeah.
One Motorsport were looking to return. I'm sorry, but I do not believe that the illness of one person at an organisation prevents you from returning to the motorsport.
There's a lot more that's gone on behind the scenes there that no one, I don't think, is privy to.
And this is the point. And also, you've seen this year the struggles at WSR. I mean, there was a real possibility at the start of the season that WSR would not be on the grid.
Yeah.
And it's only because of various bits and pieces that happened there that they have managed to get onto the grid, but it was a very late call.
Yep.
It's worrying. It is worrying because other than Virtue and Napa, who seem pretty safe, I don't think there's any team on the grid that you would say is safe, and I don't particularly want a Ford and Hyundai championship forevermore. I like having variety, and it's worrying.
What I would say is, unfortunately, we do see history repeat itself over and over again.
But we don't learn, Sam.
And are we heading back to a stage which we had in the early 2000s, where we have very few manufacturer entries, where we have
take the word manufacturer, we'll go very few entries.
A very limited grid, and almost back to a two-tier system within the touring cars. We shall see. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments about all the news that has been released this week. We'll try and get on to more positive matters now and actually look ahead to the weekend. We are, of course, going to be at Donington GP, which is the long Melbourne Loop circuit with the hairpin, which I quite like, actually. I like having that little extra bit. It makes it a bit more interesting for me, yeah.
Okay.
A few more overtaking opportunities.
I have no strong feelings about it either way, to be honest with you. It's nice to have a slightly different layout, I suppose. I can't really moan that we'd go to the same triangle of Silverstone and then not be upbeat from Donington. But I think Donington is quite a good circuit anyway, regardless of layout. So, yeah.
Go on then, do your normal stuff.
Right, 12 corners, 2.49 miles. So one of the longer circuits on the calendar, as you say, with that extra loop. Debuted in 1986, but has only recently come back on, I think, in the last 3, 4, 5 years. Qualifying lap record is held by...
Dan Hamish.
No.
Sutton.
Yes.
Hey.
The 1 minute 33 set in 2023. Race record is held by...
Ingram?
Correct. Would you like to guess the year? I'm not suggesting you guess the time, that'd be mad.
24.
25, 1 minute 36. 1 minute 33, 6. I think that was with the new engine post the Stone.
Yes,
but
I think so as well.
In 2025, pole was taken by Tom Chilton. Race 1 was Chilton from Ingram from Rowbottom. That was the famous "we don't take wins off each other at this team" speech from Ingram. Camish won race 2 from Morgan from Shedden. And then we saw Ingram win race 3 from Sutton from Rowbottom. So a track that both Virtue and Napa go well at. Shock horror.
Mixed bag, though. This weekend, what are we expecting?
I'm expecting Tim Harvey to say Jason Plater racing a lot. I'm expecting do you know what? No, I'll touch on that with my predictions.
Okay.
I'll wait till the predictions for that bit.
Yep.
I don't expect anything other than a really strong weekend for both Virtue and Napa across the board. I think that some of the drivers will have weekends to forget. I think that, I'm not particularly excited to see what Osborne or Selby can do here. I think that Camish and Sutton will do well.
Yep.
I think that if we don't have any rain, that whoever finished on the podium in race 1 is going to be really angry because they'll be out the points in race 2. I think the tyre offset here will be insane in the if it's dry, if it's wet, different ball game.
Yep.
But yeah, I just see a good weekend for Virtue and Napa.
Do you see Toyota or Audi infiltrating podiums or being up there and competitive?
Competitive, infiltrating podiums, maybe. I think I just think the Virtue and Napa cars will be a long way into the distance. Although I do think if any of those teams want to strike, race 1 is the time to do it, when I'm thinking some of those, Ingram, Sutton, Camish will be down on boost. Might be a chance to, and also might not be wanting to finish in the top 3 for tyre reasons. So it might be an opportunity for a Doble, a Moffat. Do you know what? The way sport writers goes, Morgan or Robot is going to get a podium, and then they're going to have a really awkward interview. It's the way it's going to go. I'll touch on that. Is one of my predictions is that they will get a podium because that's the way sport works, and then they'll have to look really awkward on the podium and say, and Louise will say something along the lines of, "It's been a difficult week off the track, but on the track at least you're getting things sorted now." And then Rowbottom will look quite shifty. I know. You can write it. Yeah. So, that is absolutely going to happen. Toyota, no, I don't think they're going to be any good here. Q Cook winning all 3 races, of course. But again, I don't know. I'm not. This week has left me feeling pretty down on the whole sport, I have to say.
Yeah.
I think that's it. It doesn't help that the series is pretty much wrapped up in every championship apart from maybe 2 now, which, well, hey, great.
Keep it light, mate.
So, yeah. and I'm slightly disappointed that we haven't seen Toyota really kick on this season. They've flattered to deceive a lot of the times. Yeah, Sheldon Cook having semi-good seasons, but
Aaron Taylor Smith's been woeful.
Yeah, he's gone missing since the Brands Hatch win.
He really has.
You've lost a young talent in Buxton to be replaced by Bensley, who has got a decent racing pedigree behind him, but it's fair to say he's not pulled up any trees since he's come to this grid. So, yeah, Cook will probably do okay, get a top 6, what Cook does.
BMWs?
I mean, who knows? I mean, genuinely, I know I'm sounding flippant. I know, but I mean, who knows? 1 week maybe good, 1 week not so good. I think their ceiling now is top 6. I think the way we saw them not really bother a podium at Knockhill was a real worry for me because race 1 was wet, fine, but we also know Rainford's really good in the wet.
But we did also see how Rainford and Leon were able to come through. Yeah. Yes, from poor positions. Yeah. But they did show pace to come through.
They did, but I think their ceiling is now 6. I think they get to the sort of that 6. They haven't got the speed to go and take on Virtue and Napa, it's my opinion. I just don't see them hunting them down enough to get a podium. If you consider that normally one of Ingram and or Chilton or Sutton Chilton or Collard will be in a podium, and then Camish and Sutton are generally in that top 4, top 6.
Yeah.
Do I think Rainford and De Leon have the car to get by either those 4 drivers? 5 drivers potentially? No, is the honest answer.
Okay.
So I think the traction zone might help them a little bit coming out of the hairpin, but I just don't think they've got the outline. The problem with this layout for WSR is going to be that it's a long run down to that hairpin, and they just don't have the power this year. They just do not have the speed.
No, agreed.
Is there anybody you want to look out for particularly? I've been quite down. Just trying to bring some positivity.
I do think the Hyundais and the Fords are definitely going to be the ones to beat. And I know we say that pretty much every week now. But I don't see any massive surprises coming unless we do get rain, which, looking out the window now, there is some cloud coverage.
Yeah, it's supposed
so
not.
I'm kind of hopeful, but who knows?
It's supposed
if we
to
do
be.
Get rain at Donington, it normally causes chaos.
It does. It's supposed to be dry, having looked at the weather, which means you say it probably will buck it down.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that for the interest, it needs to rain in race 2 to try and nullify some of the tyre problems that we have. But
predictions?
Yeah, well, as I said, I believe in the script writing god. So Robot, who took pole here, let's not forget, at the start of the season, I think we'll take pole here. I think the Mercedes will be strong here this weekend. I genuinely do. I think the track suits the car.
Yep.
They came out swinging here at the opening round of the weekend. I see no reason to think that couldn't happen again. So I'm going for Robot for pole because that's how script writers work.
I'm going for Camish because Camish either has a really good weekend at Donington or dire. So I'm going for good this time round.
Yes, he had the fire here a couple of years ago, didn't he? Yes, he did. Yes.
Sprint winner?
I've gone for Cook. I've gone for Cook. I think that only because I don't think Sutton, Ingram, etc., Collard will be near the front. I think that if the qualifying is dry, I think the boost is going to play a real part here. There's so many options to use it here, and I think that they all use it I think there's enough fast drivers who use it in an interesting way to make them too quick to catch.
Fair enough. I'm going for Camish as well. I think he could well take pole and run with it.
Minimal boost.
We'll see. Your 3 winners for Sunday then.
It's boring, but you can't rule out Ingram or Sutton at any point. So I've gone for them because they always win a race. I know you've gone for one of them.
Yeah, I've gone for one of them.
And I've gone Collard. I think he finally gets that win this weekend. I think the car is really strong here. I see one of yours, and I nearly went for him because he always goes well here.
Chilton.
Yeah, he does. He always goes well here.
I just have a feeling. I hope he will be on a bit of a buoyant place from taking that win at Knockhill.
It will depend where Charles Rainford is.
It will, yes, very much so. We've got Ingram for me as well, and also Dan Lloyd. Those script writers.
Yeah, I can see it.
They like a retribution, and I just have a funny feeling.
Well, didn't he nearly win a race here where the toe link broke on the last?
Yeah, we were there.
Yeah.
Yes. So hopefully that he comes to fight that demon.
Jaxie is almost pointless predicting now.
Yeah, I think that's passing.
I couldn't argue with you in any.
Anyway, next.
I can't even think of an argument for an individual driver. Well, maybe Osborne if he's competing, which no one seems to know if he's competing it or not.
And if it rains, maybe Hamilton.
He's showing in all the stats that he is competing, but then you say he's competing, people say no, he's not. He withdrew months ago, so who knows on that one.
So I didn't look at your predictions before I did mine.
Okay.
So we have both gone for Mercedes, or a Cataclean Mercedes podium, however you want to label them this weekend.
Well, I've labelled them properly, which is CPRL.
Yes. So I want to raise something to you.
Okay.
Would you prefer a driver, and I'll have the other one?
What do you mean? Well, you technically have been very vague. Is yours on a?
Mine's for a Sunday, to be fair.
See, mine is either day.
Okay. Do you want to stay with that?
Well, I don't want to pick a driver.
Okay, that's fine. We'll stay with that then.
Yeah. What I will say, because it makes no difference. This way, you still get a point. I still get a point. As long as yours comes in on the Sunday.
Yeah. I just wondered if you wanted a little bit more differential.
I'll tell you what. If you want to add a bonus point onto it for a driver each, then that's fine. But I want to keep the underlying prediction as well. I'm happy to add a bonus point.
Okay. Yeah. Go on then.
Right. Do you want to flip a coin to who picks first? Or you have me to pick first?
No, I'm happy for you to pick first.
I
think I know who you were going to pick, but
I'll go Morgan.
Okay. Even though you gone Robot for a win.
Yeah, spread it.
Interesting.
Spread it. No, I went for him as pole sitter.
Okay.
Didn't go for him for win. Different scenario that.
I'll go for Robot then.
Fair enough. Spread me eggs. That's an extra bonus point.
Your second prediction, mate.
Ingram to outscore Sutton this weekend. It will make no difference overall, but I think that Ingram.
It's going to be 1 point. It's going to be down to a fastest lap, and I'm going to be very annoyed at the end of the weekend, aren't I?
Potentially, Ingram outscored Sutton
or
here.
A lead lap.
Well, so just last year, Sutton got a fourth, eighth, and a second, and Ingram got a second, a fourth, and a first. If that form carries on. And just incidentally, Cambridge had a fifth, a first, and a 12th. I've included him because he's now close to Ingram for second. Yes. But Ingram had a bit of a torrid time at Knockhill. I expect the Virtue car to be better here, and I expect him to be good here as well.
I've gone for Dan Lloyd to outscore Smiley this weekend. Okay. A restart battle that has restarted now. I just have this feeling that Lloyd is a better driver. The fact that he's I touched a nerve.
I'm not sure I agree with that.
Interesting.
Smiley's a TCR champion, mate.
Let us know down in the comments who you think the better driver out of the two are.
No, I'm not having that. No, I'm really not having that. No.
All we need to see down in the comments is either Dan or Chris.
I don't think it's necessarily a massive gap, but I'm not sure it's as... okay.
Okay. Anyway, I've gone for him to outscore Smiley this weekend. He's been around the team all season, so I have a good feeling that he will know how the car is acting. Obviously, he was in the car last season anyway. I just think he's gone...
But your predictions make no sense. We're just in your third one.
Yeah. Yeah, but Lloyd only has to outscore Smiley.
Yeah, okay. By a point. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And Smiley has a lot of retirements lately.
Yes.
And screens that fog up, meaning he cannot see.
Would you like to go for my final one as well?
You go. Yeah, go on then.
And then I've got Patterson to outscore Restart as a team.
Can I just check, is this on Sunday or is it the whole weekend? And can I check that the same for your Restart Lloyd one, please?
Whole weekend for both.
Whole weekend for both. That's fine. I just wanted to check before.
No, that's fine.
Given the some of the uncertainty around my WSR one the other week, I just wanted to check we're all on the same page.
Whole weekend, and that is points scored, final finishing positions in the whole race.
Okay, mine says weekend, so mine also includes Saturday. Cool. Right? My last prediction is that at least one of the top 3 from race 1 will finish outside the top 10 in race 2.
Yeah, okay.
I think the tyre is going to kill any chance they have this year.
Fair enough.
Even though Ingram managed to do okay last year. But then Ingram does okay on this tyre. Look, a lot always depends on who gets to third and when.
And what type of driver they are, whether they're a very good defensive driver like we saw Shedden do last time out. He pretty much stopped the rot. But we could have a more inexperienced driver possibly finish third on the podium. And
it could rain halfway through the race, which would make it all better off.
So. I mean, we do know that if a driver gets pushed out at one place on the circuit, they could lose 4, 5, 6 positions.
Down the Craners,
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
What race times have we got this weekend then, sir?
We have got the qualifying hour of cars go around the track
2 different sessions,
running over the track limits and getting very angry that the track limit exists and shouting at things and saying there's a conspiracy and having all the fans with their tin hats on saying, well, he didn't get a track limit, why did this one? That all kicks off at 2:05, so you'll be pleased to know, on the Saturday. The sprint to pole race event qualification for the Sunday is at 3:05. Stay tuned for that.
On YouTube.
On YouTube. I hope it's a bit better than what we've had so far.
So do I.
But there we go. I'll be fascinated to see at the end of the season whether it is deemed a success by drivers, fans, Toka, and if it carries on for next year. I will say, if it's purely, which I think it was a money spinning idea to get people through the gate on a Saturday. It's worked. Whether that will happen next year, I don't know.
What I might do at the end of the season is I might go back through all of ITV Sports streams for those to see whether the viewing figures have dropped off. Just as a little analytical ploy.
Very good.
Race times on Sunday.
Race 1 is at 11:45, so a late start, which means that there's plenty of time for ITV to run a Plato update, shall we say, and ask everybody's opinion. I can't wait to see what Paul O'Neill might have to say on the subject.
I very much doubt they're going to have an interview from Jason at all.
Do you know what? It could go one of two ways. He's either recording one now and demanding it's aired, or we won't hear from him for a while. And
I honestly don't think we'll hear from him. We probably won't hear from him probably till the end of the season.
No, I hope obviously he's doing okay.
He might well be under an NDA.
Potentially. At the heart of it, obviously, we know he's had some problems. So obviously, hoping he is okay. Race 1, I say, is 11:45. Race 2 is 2:45, and race 3 is 5:30. We have Porsches, we have caterhams, and we have minis.
Good luck to everyone trying to get out of Donington. We normally find a quick way out, but
we're not going this year. Yeah, this week, this time, whatever you want to call it, we're not going. No, because you've very selfishly had a daughter who's got a birthday that weekend.
A birthday party. Her birthday was last weekend, but unfortunately.
I'll have a word with the mother for arranging parties so poorly.
But let us know your thoughts on obviously all the news that has gone off this week. It feels like a bomb has dropped on the touring cars, and a lot has been shaken up, and there's still a lot of shrapnel to be worked out where it's all gone. But we'll see. Do you like that analogy? But let us know your thoughts down in the comments. Obviously, keep everything civil, keep speculation to a minimum. Just want to know your thoughts on how it's going to play out.
Yeah, and if you're being... My final thoughts on this is that if you're being... It's like the old train conundrum.
Another analogy. Here we go.
The train track conundrum where you have to pick who you save. Plato losing his job is better than an entire team losing their job and livelihood, as rubbish and crappy as that is. I think that, judging by social media, I think a lot of people will not be watching this weekend, and I think that will be a problem. We know from our own experience that if we put Plato in any of our social media stuff, it hits in ways that just the normal stuff just does not. So, questions to be answered for the sport, questions to be answered for its future. For now, we shall ask the question, who will win this weekend?
Yeah, hopefully it'll be a good one, and we'll be back on Saturday evening.
Maybe.
With a review, being well, of the race to pole, and then we will be definitely back for a review of the whole weekend on Monday or Tuesday.
We should just quickly clarify that, actually, that, there may not be a race to pole pod this weekend, purely because... depends what time. Well, it depends what time you finish falling over rollerblading, and if you can get back in time for
I'm not strapping any wheels to my feet
before I'm going out. But if not, but as you say, the Sunday broadcast will carry on as normal.
Until then, we'll speak to you again soon.
Goodbye for now.